Hello everyone, my name is Lynne Davis, Robert L. Town Distinguished Professor of Organ at Wichita State University, School of Music, and we are the Organ Pedagogy class with my students, Nick Maples and David Perez. We are making a video for the Wichita AGO concerning registrations and repertoire and pedal exercises, pedal technique, basic pedal technique. We are here in Wiedemann Hall on the Markussen organ built by the Danish organ company Markussen and Sons in 1986. Both the hall and the organ were built together. And I would like to show you a little bit, although most of you know the organ already from having heard it and seen it up close, but a little reminder about what the console is like, what the different divisions are, and what the stops are would be a good thing to see. The outline of today's video is, of course, registration and registrations through different historical styles. We're examining 3 different periods with 3 different types of organs. German versus French organs, in that period, Clérambault and Bach, same time period, early French registrations, Bach registrations, and Romantic registrations, the great builder Cavaillé-Coll. Hello everyone, this is part 2 of the video that the Organ Pedagogy class of Wichita State University School of Music organ program is putting together for the Wichita chapter of the American Guild of Organists. In this, we are giving descriptions of the Markussen organ, its divisions, the keyboards, the stops, and we are addressing 3 different periods of historical organ music and 3 different types of organ. And you will have this in the outline you have in front of you. North German organs for J.S. Bach, early French organs for the music of Louis-Nicolas Clérambault, and today's second part, the romantic music of César Franck and the wonderful builder, French builder, who is always associated with César Franck, Aristide Cavaillé-Coll, and his organ in the Church of Sainte Clotilde in Paris. Following this, we will be doing an excerpt on pedal technique with my 2 students, Nick Maples and David Perez, serving as students. and I'll get to correct them again. But for now, let me introduce once again David Perez, who will lead us through some typical registrations of César Franck in the chorale number 1 in E major by César Franck on the Markussen organ.
The 3 chorales are among Franck's best known works. They are characterized by a great religious solemnity and were composed by Franck in the summer of 1890. Franck was not able to oversee the printing process for the first edition, which only appeared in 1892. César Franck was born in 1822 in Belgium and died in 1890. He was the organist of the Church of Sainte Clotilde in Paris. The renowned organ builder Aristide Cavaillé-Coll and César Franck were the creators of the French symphonic organ tradition, and the organ at Sainte Clotilde was a prime example of this. The romantic or symphonic sound, contrary to the early French sound, it's primarily made up of the full body foundation stops 16, 8, and 4, as well as batteries of reeds on each keyboard manual and in the pedal. In this specific piece, there are different registrations during the different sections of the piece. I will show you and demonstrate these sections and their registration. We have become synonymous with the Frank sound. For the first section of the chorale number 1 in E major by César Frank, we are using the Dover edition, and we're going to start our registrations on the swell. So we are going to pull out Salicional 8, Flute 8, Flute Harmonic 8, Oboe 8, and we are going to couple the swell to the Bluesberg. On the grade, we have Principal 8, Whole Flute 8, Trockedact 8, and we're going to couple the positive to the grade and the swell to the grade. On the positive, we have Prestant 8 and Gedacht 8. For the pedal division, we're going to couple the positive to pedal, the swell to pedal, and the grade to pedal. For our second section in the chorale, we're going to start on page 145. And for this chorale, we're going to start on the swell with oboe 8. And in this case, we're using the oboe because on this organ we don't have voix humain. And this is another possibility we can use on American organs. So on the swell we have oboe 8, flute octaviante 4. And we're going to add tremulant, and we're going to couple the swell to the Bluesberg. On the grade, we have whole flute 8, Trockedact 8, and also we're going to couple the positive to the grade and the swell to the grade. On the positive, we have Prestant 8 and Gedacht 8. And in the pedal division, we are going to couple the swell to pedal. For the first variation on page 146, we have on the swell, Salicional 8, Flute 8, Trumpet 8, and also we're going to couple the swell to Bluesberg. On the grade, we have Trockedact 8, and we're going to couple the positive to the grade. On the positive, we only have Gedacht 8, and In the pedal, we have principal 16, sub-bass 16, and gedacht 8. And now, we're going to start with the tutti in the middle of the piece, page 148. And we're going to start on the swell, and we have bourdon 16, salicious 8, flute 8, flute harmonic 8, prestant 4, plein basson 16, trumpet 8, oboe 8, trumpet 4, or clarion, and we're going to couple the positive to great, we're going to couple the swell to pluswerk. On the great, we have principal 8, octave 4, quintet 2 to 3rd, octave 2, gedacht comte 16, half flute 8, trochedacht 8, cornet, and trumpet 4, and trumpet 8, and trumpet 4. And on this division, we're going to couple the positive to great and also the swell to great. On the positive, we have prestant 8, principal 4, gedacht 8, cromorn, and we're going to couple the swell to the positive. In the pedal, we have principal 16, octave 8, choral bass 4, unterstadt 32, sub-bass 16, gedacht 8, contra, fagot, posaune 16, and trumpet 8. And also we're going to couple the swell to the pedal, the positive to the pedal, and the great to pedal. And now we are going to play the very end of the chorale number 1 by Frank with the same tutti we played before.
This final section is going to be on pedal technique. Pedal technique is of course of vital importance for all of us organists, but it's a good thing to be able to remind oneself how one should be sitting at the bench, what the position of the feet are, where the heels are supposed to be, etc. So let's look a little bit first at how one is going to be seated. The toes should be at the beginning of the black notes. If the bench is too far away, your toes will be here, and then you won't be able to reach the black keys. Sitting on the bench, I'm at the right distance and height. Sitting on the bench, one should be sitting 2/3 off and 1/3 on. It sounds silly, but you must be able to rock back and forth so that you can pivot from left to right. If I'm too far back, you see I don't have much leverage. And I can't, I can't really go to the left or the right. So it's important that you have this rocking feeling, and the height of the bench and the distance of the bench will help you do this without having the feeling that you're falling off. So remember to do that. Before we get a close-up of the feet, remember that your left foot is on the C, your right foot on the E, your knees together, heels together, and feet turned inward. Inward, so that you'll be playing on the inside of the sole of your shoe, inside of the toe and inside of the heel. No flat feet. We'll go over this again. Of course, we have pedal boards that are concave radiating because it's in the United States, and these are the normal pedal boards we have for the AGO. But there are flat pedal boards, as in Europe and in other organs that are of historically important periods, but this is a very good position to begin with. Once again, to recapitulate the position of the feet, we want to have your basic position on the bench will be left foot on C, right foot on E, with your toes up against the black keys. This is for added balance, especially when you're going back and forth between heel and toe, white and black keys. Heels together, knees together, heels together, and much like in ballet, your feet turned in at the ankle, not a flat foot, because it's very difficult to play. Well, you can, but it won't work for very long. So the feet turned in at the ankle to play on the inside. No flat feet. So just as a reminder, big toe on the black keys, all toe going from one key to the next as in a second, and we're going to see these in the exercises we've given you and that will be demonstrated by our students. And now if you'll take your sheet of pedal exercises, we will be doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and number 9. The first 3 will be done by my student Nick Maples, whose feet you see, and he has the right distance and height for his feet. His toes are against the black keys. The first exercise is alternate toes on white keys from the Dupre organ method. You have the list of all the methods on another page. What stop should one use for pedal exercises? Good question. If you use a 16, it will be too muddy. So we will go with 8 foot, an 8-foot stop, 8 and 4 if you have the possibility, or it depends on the noise level, but let's start with the octave 8. I think that's pretty good. Good, and now we'll go the next one, which is going down. Now you'll notice that it had a very good, there's a rest in both of these. It's an 8th rest. You notice that Nick did do a very good attack, but he let up the key to allow the release of the air in the pipe. If you don't do that, show us, Nick. Yeah, it doesn't come, the key doesn't come up right away, and the air doesn't go out uniformly from it. So be attentive to your release. In these two exercises, it's very interesting because in the first one, the left foot stays in place, so you don't have to worry about that note. And then the right foot goes up, but it goes up a step each time. And it's up to you to put your foot, the big toe obviously, on the same spot in each key as you go up. Next, we will go to one of the exercises with intervals between the feet. Let's start with let's do the fourths between the feet. You'll see that Dupre has the 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and octaves. This is good to get an idea how far apart your feet need to be to do these intervals, because there is a memory, muscle memory for your feet and for your eyes and your brain, so that you can get an idea, well, this is a 4th, oh, but I'm supposed to be playing a 5th, oh, well, that's not it. So these exercises are good as well. You'll notice they're written in quarter notes, but you can also do them in rhythms. Let's put a 4-foot on, choral bass 4 with the octave 8, and let's do these in rhythms. Long, short, long, short, long. That's good. Now you notice that the interval is between the 2 feet. Each foot in each of these exercises only goes up a second. So this is your chance to get that right, your foot with the same part of the foot on the same part of the key each time. Excellent. Now we'll go to number 2, which is alternate toes on white and black keys. Dupre, page 18. I think we'll keep the octave 8 and choral bass 4. You can also do 8-foot flute and 4-foot flute. Now, what is interesting about this? We've been doing the feet are a little bit off kilter, but you have to resist the temptation. Nick, show us where you shouldn't be on the black key. Yeah, see, if you want to play a white key after playing that C sharp, what would you have to do? Yup. way back. You'd have to put your foot way back. So let's get a good position, knees together, heels together, feet turned inwards and playing on the big toe. And here we go. Just no repeats. The next one, which is, again, the left foot staying stationary and the right foot going up a half step each time. Very good. Actually, it wasn't just a half step, but it goes between half step and a whole step. So to get your feet used to doing that sort of thing. The next one, we are doing the next one, which is the left foot in place and the right foot going up chromatically. A little faster. Right there. What is Nick doing that's really good? I'll let you think about that. Do it again, Nick. Okay. He is preparing the foot that's changing, the right foot. He is over the next note before actually playing it. Show us again. This is very important. Even if it's a millisecond, be over your note before you play it. Excellent. Let's just go down now. The next one, next X on the page, and it's the left foot that's going down. Notice how he will prepare his left foot being over the note before playing it. Okay, that's good. This is very interesting because you can see how little movement he uses to play these pedal exercises. It's the minimum movement was possible, and when he's playing between the white and black keys, it's like knitting. It's really, play that really fast, that last one. Dee 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 dee. Okay, now that when he started to go fast, started to go up a little too far on the black keys. Let's see if you can keep that toe on the very tip of the black key. Yes, now that was a lot better. When you have a big pedal solo in a piece, you want to be able to move with it the least amount of movement. Now we go to toe and heel on the white keys. Do pray, page 21. There is also in your packet an example in the Gleason method, page 119. What is important for toe and heel? To make sure that you are playing on the inside of your foot. Right? And you can't really see it for the moment with the left foot, but when he plays his right foot, you will. Play, the two notes in question are B, C. Play the B with the toe and hold that and play the C together. Yes, and he could do that because his foot is tipped inward. Okay, let's see it. Good release. Now here's a very good way of practicing those. hold the B, and then tap, go G, 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 G with the heel on the C. And then you go over to the heel, hold the heel, and tap the B. Yes, now try to do that with a flat foot. Okay, you got to make a mistake. Yeah, okay. So it's really worth it to have your foot turned in. And now we'll continue on page 21 of Dupré with heel, toe, heel, or toe, heel, toe. You see in the second and third exercise for left foot and right foot that you go around, you don't, and do a toe, heel, toe on the white keys. Let's see how Nick fares with this. Excellent, and the other pedaling. There's no mistakes. What is the reason why he has been so successful in doing this? Let's do a little practicing tip, Nick, that we just talked about. Hold the toe in place and then go around, the toe on the C, and go around with, play the heel on the D and then the B. Now play the toe on the exterior part of your foot. Yeah, it doesn't work so well. So it means that you have to have a sufficient place to put your heel around, going around. And then the other, hold the heel down. And what does this mean? Maybe he's not back far enough on the C, holding the heel down. That will give you your good position. Heel on the C, holding the C down, going around it. No, the heel on the, yeah. Yeah, it takes a bit to hold the heel down, but he's playing on the inside of his heel. Let's go to the fourth exercise on that same page, the fourth X. And this is a great exercise to play toe, heel, heel, toe. And you'll notice that it's still on the white keys, only a second for each foot. And one foot pushes the other foot up. So let's see that. The foot turned in, that's good. And of course you will go to the end of this exercise, but it's because it will go down as well. Excellent exercises to keep yourself in shape on the pedal. And now to exercise number 4 on your list of pedal exercises. This is in the method by Dupré on page 22. Toe and heel on white and black keys. What do we have to remember? Still remembering heels together, knees together, feet turned in to play on the inner part of your foot. And that is the big toe and the inner part of your heel. And here to do this for you is my student, David Perez. You will notice that they're different feet. All right, so the first one, and this is a half step for the left foot. Octave 8 and choral bass 4 for the registration. Remember, you can use a flute 8 or flute 8 and 4, but not a 16 because it gets too muddy. All right, now the last two on this page 22 are the same thing, toe, heel, heel, toe, but it is a full second instead of a half step. So you have to go a little bit farther. David, hold down the toe on the B flat and play the C together. Okay, now put your toe, much more your big toe on the B flat. No, well, on the tip, yes. And again. Can you do the same thing with the right foot on the, not that part, but the F sharp, E, so they can see a little bit better? Yeah. Yeah, you'll see that the reason why he's succeeding in doing that is that he's playing on his big toe. The foot is turned so that he can play on the inner part of the sole and the inner part of the heel. All right, let's see the exercises. See, this can happen. This can happen. Things can slip. You can always go back to playing it a little bit slower. Make sure, David, you've got your big toe on the C sharp. Okay. Excellent. So let's go next to the substitution. Substitution is number 5 on your list. Dupre, page 28. It's always useful. These are basic exercises for the pedal that you'll want to go through. There's one thing we haven't done, and it's glissando, but David, just play a D sharp to an E with the right foot. D sharp, right foot. No, to toe, no, right foot only. No, glissando, yes. And you'll notice, do it again, you'll notice that when he does that, that is the right placement of the toe on both keys, the black and the white. Now play them separately with a little rest in between. Yes, and play it with the E farther back. See, this is not to do because this is using more motion and you won't have the correct balance, and if you have to go to another note, you'll use too much energy. All right, now to the substitution. Let's see what the first exercise brings us. Again, he's over the note before he plays it. In this case, the side-by-side toes are not respected because the foot that is replacing, that is substituting for the right foot, in this case the left foot, goes behind. And the right toe is a little bit higher. Let's just try the one with thirds up the arpeggio of C major. Before we go to something else, the chromatic, we haven't talked about guide notes. How is it that you're going to be not having to look at your feet to get the correct notes? All right, well, first of all, with your left foot over C, your right foot over E, if I say to go to a low F, yeah, now you don't have to go that far, but if you want to play an F, you just hit up against the F sharp with your toe. No, the sideways. Sideways, like this. No. Like this. And E, like this. The C, like that. Do it up again. Now, let's find the G in the middle. Ah, yes, that's one of the most difficult notes to find. If you find the F sharp, you know that a half step up is the G. Let's find the top C. Yeah, you just hit up against the C sharp. No, hit up against it, this sideways. Yeah, exactly. The B natural. Yeah, and then F again. E, C, A, F, and C. Yeah, all right. Anyway, you can examine that yourselves at home. Important to have guide notes. You cannot be looking at your feet all the time. This is one of the coordination things. All right, chromatic. Chromatic in the Gleason method, page 115, the interval between the feet is a third, but each foot goes up a half step. Now they're in quarter notes, so you can go relatively slow, but this is to make sure you've got the right part of your foot on each key. We can do them in rhythms, we can do them faster. For the moment, let's see what it looks like. Half step up each for each foot. Let's go down. The same thing, but in rhythms. Da, 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 da. Long, short, long. Legato. All right, now let's do something else. Let's try that faster. Like da, 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 da. This will help us, especially in the next and final excerpt that we're going to do, and it's going to be the pedal solo from the B-flat major Prelude and Fugue by Bach. And now to our final excerpt. It's number 9 on your list of pedal exercises. This is the pedal solo from the Prelude in B-flat major by Bach, from the 8 little preludes and fugues. You'll find in many books, and this is from the Richie Stauffer book, page 243, that there are quite a few excerpts of pedal solos in different pieces, lots from Bach. And these are good to be able to practice because it gives you something from a real piece. First of all, we're going to play this excerpt, which is an exercise for on an 8-foot and a 4-foot so we can hear it clearly. And then we'll use the real registration that one would use in this piece. If we look at this closely, we're going to play literally by intervals. What happens here? What's between each foot? Thirds, third, 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 sixth, third, 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 sixth, second, third, 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 fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, octave, seventh, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, octave, seventh. And this is very useful. Well, you must be able to read by interval rather than just by simple notes, by each note, because that gives you how far apart your feet should be. It's a much easier way of looking at a line of music. Let's try this, Nick, with just an 8-foot principle and a 4-foot principle. Okay, let's try let's see, 1, 2, third full measure, measure 10. Okay, good. Now these are good mistakes, thank you. The next to the last measure, what is happening here? It's just basically the same thing as you see in the beginning. We've got a second, a third, a sixth, a third, sixth, third, and then this figure at the end, dun, 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 bum, octave, cadence formula. And of course this is all toes. It's easy because we don't need any heels anyway. Try that measure a little slower. Okay, we've got that problem because coming out of that sixth, F-A, you have to go, the right foot has to go down a fourth. Do, yes. So that's the culprit there. That's difficult to come back to get that. All right, now let's put on a regular registration, which is Principle 16-8-4 mixture, and we're going to use a trumpet 8 for clarity. You could also use a 16-foot reed, but for the moment we'll just use this. Exactly how it should be played. No mistakes to point out. That's too bad. But you could see that his toes were at the ends, right at the tips of the black keys, and on the black keys on the very tip. In fact, when you see those rounded tips of the black keys, on many organs they're worn down. That's because that's where you're supposed to play. So this is an excellent excerpt for you to practice your pedal solos. And with that, we will bid you adieu. This is the end of our AGO project, Organ Pedagogy video, and we are looking forward to the session we're going to have with you on questions on Saturday, November 14th. Until then, goodbye.